Greetings, yoga friends. I'm Rebecca. Today we have a gentle Hatha Yoga series to get your day started or really for any time of the day. If you'd like to use a strap or a block for this practice, you can keep those handy, or I'll take you through the poses without them. So let's unroll our mats and do some yoga. Find your comfortable seat. You can start in Virasana or Hero's pose, or just come to your easy cross-legged seat. And we'll just begin by closing our eyes and just taking a couple of deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. Here you can just visualize yourself dropping into your body, maybe spreading out into all of the corners of your own being. And we'll just begin a little movement with the breath, inhaling the shoulders up to the ears and exhaling them down the back. And this movement here is for you. So if this particular one doesn't appeal, or perhaps you like to take one shoulder and then the other, or there's some other movement that just feels right for you, you can take that now. One more nice deep breath here, and then we'll bring that to stillness. Inhaling here, we'll exhale as we drop one ear to one shoulder, maybe allowing that other shoulder to become heavy, weighting down in that opposite elbow. Really feeling that stretch in the side of the neck here. And then inhaling the head back to center, we'll drop the head over to the other side. Bringing that stretch into the other side of the neck. And then inhaling the head back to center, we'll just look out over one shoulder this time. Inhaling back through center, exhaling as we look in the other direction. Inhaling back to center, exhaling, looking over that first shoulder again. Not trying to do anything special here, just bringing a little range of motion into the neck this morning. And inhaling back to center. We'll bring the hands to heart center here, dropping the chin to the chest, keeping the spine nice and tall, feeling that stretch in the back of the neck. Bowing our minds to our hearts here for just a moment. And if you'd like to set an intention for your practice, this is a nice place to do that. Moving into the breath. And then on our next exhale, we'll let the hands come down. And the mat next to us, we'll plant the right hand into the mat, inhaling the left hand up tall, exhaling, reaching that fingertips up and over, grounding down through that left hip. Feeling that space open up between the top of the pelvis and the bottom of the rib cage. exhaling, we'll bring that hand back down, planting the left hand into the mat, inhaling the right hand up, and exhaling as we reach up and over out of the pelvis. And exhaling to let that hand come back down. We'll inhale both arms up overhead. Exhaling as we twist open to one side, bringing our fingertips around back behind us. Inhaling to let the spine grow tall. And then inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhaling, we'll drop to the other side. Our spines are able to extend when we sit up tall, but also when we twist. So just bringing that extension into the spine. Inhaling the arms up overhead. We'll exhale to allow those hands to come back down to the mat. And here we'll switch ourselves around into a tabletop. So bring those joints into alignment. Find how you like to place your feet. Open your hands up wide. And then we'll begin some cat-cow. Beginning this movement with the breath, allowing the tailbone to guide the spine. And one last exhale here. And we'll come to meet in tabletop, taking our hands, a couple of handprints out front, rolling the toes under and shifting the hips up towards the ceiling. You can keep the knees nice and bent if this is your first down dog today. And just begin to gently pedal those feet, walk your dog. And we'll bring that back down to tabletop. We're going to allow the big toes to touch, allow the knees to come out wide to the sides of the mat. And exhale as we press the hips back into a wide leg child's pose. Reaching out through the fingertips here, feeling that opposing motion, the top of the body reaching away from the waist and the bottom of the body reaching away from the waist in the other direction. And maybe bring a little smile to your lips here. You can roll the forehead back and forth on the mat, getting a little massage in the brow. Allowing that little spot in between the eyebrows to relax. Allow your worries to melt away. And then using the breath to carry us up, we'll inhale back to tabletop. Come back for another couple of cat-cows here with your own breath, coming through 3 rounds of breath. Finding our way to that neutral spine and tabletop, and walking the hands forward again, rolling the toes under, shifting back, downward facing dog. This time, bending the right knee deeply as we extend into the left heel. Maybe even shifting the gaze under the left arm. Inhaling to lift that left heel. Exhaling to press down through the right heel. Maybe bringing that gaze under the right arm. And then inhaling up to both toes, bringing that gaze back in between the toes. Exhaling, heels come down. Inhaling here, really pressing away from the mat. Exhale, knees come back down to the mat. Widen those knees if you like, or keep them close together, whichever suits you, and then switch your hips back. Downward facing, no, not downward dog. Child's pose. 3 breaths. And last breath here. And then once again, riding that breath up like a wave, rolling the toes under, shifting the hips back. Downward dog. Shifting the gaze forward here. We'll walk up to the top of the mat. Come into our first forward fold today. Keeping the knees bent, if you like. Maybe walking the fingertips from side to side, or extending through one leg and then the other. Or maybe you'd like to come into a ragdoll this morning. And liking this extension of one leg and then the other. So finding what works for you in your practice. I am here as a guide, but the practice still belongs to you. And so whatever you found here now, bringing that to stillness, bending the knees slightly. We'll take one hand above each bent knee and inhale up to stand. Inhaling the arms up overhead and exhaling, hands come to heart center. Take a moment here to readjust if you need to. And then we'll inhale the arms up, taking the gaze in between the hands if you like, or keeping the gaze straight forward, especially if you have any neck issues. Exhaling, coming back down, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Find that nice straight extension in the spine here. Hands maybe on the shins, or maybe they're up close to the body. Really extending out long. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up to stand. And hands come to heart center. We're going to bring the hands to the waistline now, practicing some warrior one today. So find the top of your hip bones and just allow your hands to rest gently here. We'll take a big step back with the left foot. And once we find that left foot back, turn those toes out slightly toward the top corner of the mat. We'll check in with the knee and the ankle in the front here. Knee should be stacked directly over the ankle. And in the back, that heel is going to connect with the mat. And here with the hands on the hips, we can really check how the hips are angled. So turning those hips back toward the top of the mat. And you can keep the hands right here if you like, or you can inhale the arms up overhead. Coming into this warrior one. Strong back leg, pressing into that back heel, almost like you could rip the mat apart here. And a nice big inhale here, turning the pinkies towards each other. And then exhaling, allowing the palms to come forward as we come into cactus arms. This pose is a good counter for all the time that we spend in front of our electronics. Opening the chest. Inhaling the arms up. And then we'll exhale, allowing the arms to come down. We'll extend through the front knee here, being careful not to lock this front knee out, but just to keep a gentle bend. We'll bring the arms around behind and bring the fists together behind the back. If you'd like to take a reverse namaskara here, you can do that. Opening through the shoulders, pulling the belly button into the spine. We'll exhale, tilting forward, coming into pyramid pose. Taking the gaze to the big toe. Keeping that little micro bend in the front knee. You can always bring the hands down to frame the foot if you like. And then bending into that front knee will allow the arms to sweep back up overhead. Exhaling, hands come to heart center, and we'll step back up to the top of the mat. Take a moment here, maybe shake out the legs, and then we'll come into this on the other side. So, hands come to the hips, shoulders on the back. Big step back, right foot. Turning those right toes out slightly. Tuning into the hips. Really pressing into that back leg, getting that feeling like you're tearing the mat apart. And then inhaling the arms up overhead. Pinkies come towards each other. Once you've found yourself in this extension, see if you can broaden the collarbones just a little, dropping the shoulder blades down. Inhaling here, we'll exhale, coming to cactus arms. Inhaling, arms come back overhead. Exhale, swimming the arms down, coming back to our waist, or bringing the hands behind the back, letting the fists bump, or coming into that reverse namaskara. Chest nice and open wide. Exhale, pyramid pose. So continuing to peel that left hip back here. Nice long extension of the spine. Keeping with the breath. And then bending into that front knee. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands come to heart center. And stepping back to the center of the mat. Let's take a wide leg stance on the mat. So bringing our legs out wide this morning. We'll take the hands now to the hip crease, so this place where the thigh meets the body. And then opening the shoulders. We'll exhale, dropping forward, stopping about halfway, just to check in with the knees here, making sure they have a little micro bend, extension in the spine, and then continuing to drop all the way down to the floor. And maybe bring the floor to you. Maybe your knees are bent. Maybe you use a block, maybe not. Just relaxing the neck and shoulders here. We'll take a little twist here. You can reach over to one leg, or you can plant your hand in front of you on the mat. So choosing how you'd like to take your twist, and then inhaling one arm up. Doesn't matter which arm you choose. We'll be going to both sides. Taking 3 deep breaths. Relaxing the neck. And then allowing that hand to come down. We'll switch hands here at the bottom. And then when you're ready, inhaling that other arm up. Bending the knees slightly, engaging the kneecaps up the front of the thigh. And then allowing that hand to come back down to the mat. We'll bend the knees slightly, knee one hand above each bent knee, and then coming up to stand. Now from our wide leg stance, we'll turn the left toes out, bringing the right toes in slightly. And you could step that right foot forward just a bit if you like. This creates a little extra space in the hips. And so pressing into the outer edges of both feet here, we'll inhale the arms up halfway, checking in with that knee over the front ankle, and then taking the gaze over the front hand, like we're gazing out over the horizon. Dropping that back hand, we'll scoop up some space here in the front, reaching forward in order to sweep back. Continuing to deepen into that front knee. Inhale back to warrior two. And exhale to side angle. And trying to find some lightness in this elbow here, challenging those obliques just a bit. 2 breaths. And then inhaling back to warrior two. And allow that front leg to extend. Feet come back to center. Maybe you find a little wiggle in the legs here. And switching to the other side, turning that those right toes out. Left toes come in slightly. Inhaling arms up halfway. And then exhaling, warrior two. Feeling where the effort and the ease are in this position. Our effort in our front leg, but also that nice ease and stretch in our extended back leg. And then dropping the back hand, we'll scoop forward, gathering up some air as we come into our reverse warrior. Give yourself a little smile. And then sweeping the arms down, coming into side angle. Really reaching up tall to the fingertips. You can always take this to extended side angle if you like, but you don't have to. Finding that lightness in the elbow. Rolling those lower ribs up towards the ceiling. And then inhaling back to warrior two. And exhale to extend the leg. Coming back to center here. Maybe walking those feet back into the center of the mat. Shaking out your legs if you like. If you'd like to grab a block here, if you have one handy, we'll come into triangle next. And so if you like a block for your triangle, you can grab that now. So we'll come back to our wide leg stance. I'm going to take that block if you want to use it to the back of the left leg. And turn the left foot back out, turning the right foot at an angle. Inhaling the arms up halfway, keeping that little micro bend in the knee here, and then shifting the hips over to the right as we drop the left hand down to the block. Remembering you can always use your knee or thigh or foot. That block is not available. And then maybe taking this upper hand down to the low ribs and smearing those low ribs up to the ceiling. Picking up the arches of the feet. And keeping the gaze forward if you like, or shifting it up to the thumb if that feels good for your neck. Doing only what feels right for your body here. And then we'll engage everything coming out of this slowly, like someone's pulling us up with that top hand. And then allowing the arms to relax. We'll parallel the feet here, moving the block behind the other leg if you like. And then changing the direction of the feet, setting up for triangle on this side. Inhaling the arms up halfway. Exhale, shifting those hips out to the left this time, dropping that right hand down. And even if you don't regularly practice with a book or a block, sometimes it's nice to do that. It gives you an opportunity to feel some different things in your body or get into the pose in a slightly different way. And we can take that upper hand here and smear those low ribs up to the ceiling. Trying to extend out long, straight out of the shoulder socket here. Keeping the hand from going back or forward, coming straight up. One last nice deep breath here. And then engaging it all. Inhaling, arm up overhead, coming back up to stand. Allowing the feet to come back to parallel. And we'll heel toe those feet back into center. Coming to the center of our mats now. We'll take a nice Tadasana here. So feet nice and parallel, toes spread wide. Engaging the base of the toe where it meets the foot into the mat. And then pressing the mat away with the feet. Feeling the muscles of the legs engage. Working our way up the body. Engaging that Mula Bandha, lifting that pelvic floor muscle, lifting the belly button up and in, Uddiyana Bandha. Shoulders come onto the back. And then connected in this way, we'll take our weight into our right foot, slight bend in that right knee. And we'll come into a thigh stretch. So finding your balance here. And you can bring that right arm up overhead if you like. Paralleling the knees here. Pressing forward through the left hip. Finding something to focus on. And again, lifting the edges of that yoga muscle in your face. Giving yourself a little smile. And we'll let this release. Bring the left foot back down to the floor. Finding our Tadasana. Always finding our foundation first. And taking the weight into that left leg, pulling in that belly, reaching back for the top of the right foot. And extending that left arm overhead if you like. Dropping that right hip down, pressing the right hip forward. Remembering that our bodies learn balance by being off balance. So never be concerned about how often you fall out of a pose, only about how often you come back. And then allow that foot to drop. And we'll come back through our Tadasana. Let's take some tree pose here today. Just finding again those nice wide toes, bringing the weight back into the right foot. We'll turn the left heel up over the right ankle. And then from here begin to allow that left foot to rise. Maybe finding the calf, maybe finding the upper thigh. It doesn't really matter how far you bring the leg up. And then you can do whatever you like with your arms here, growing your branches or keeping them at heart center. Opening that elevated leg out to the side, external rotation for the hip, drawing that left hip down. You'll notice as you draw the hip down, it also drives that foot into the supporting leg. And then when you're ready, bringing that elevated leg back out in front, bringing the hips back to neutral, and then setting that leg down. Shaking it out a little here. And then taking your tree on the other side. Bringing the weight into the left foot, right toes turn out. Remembering to drop that hip with the elevated leg. And then just give yourself a smile. If it's a little windy in your forest this morning, that's fine. And then when you're ready, bringing that elevated leg back around in front and dropping that down. Breathing through the legs here. And then we'll come back to the top of the mat. So back here at the top of our mat, we'll inhale the arms up overhead. And this time as we're exhaling, we'll bring the hands around behind, placing the heel of the hands on the top of the hip bones in the back. And then as we're exhaling, pressing down on those hip bones, moving the hands down the glutes, coming into a little back bend here. Opening the chest, keeping the gaze forward here. And then allowing this to release. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhaling, we'll drop those hands back to the base of the spine again. Inhaling here, opening the chest. Exhaling, pressing those hands down. Nice chest opener. And then allowing those hands to release. Just go for the shoulders here before we take it back down today. Inhaling the arms overhead. We'll exhale as we twist open to one side. Hands come down halfway. Inhaling the arms overhead. We'll exhale, twist, dropping the arms in the other direction. Taking this to each side one more time. Inhale the arms up overhead. And exhale, dropping the arms. Inhale the arms up overhead, taking the hands to heart center. We'll exhale them down to the center of the chest. If you have a strap, this morning this might be a nice place to grab that. Bring that handy. And then either at the top of your mat or from elsewhere, we'll open the arms on an inhale. Exhale, reaching back for both of those shoulder blades. Inhale, and then exhaling, we'll lift the elbows, dropping the head into this little cave we create in the arms. Inhaling, we'll sweep the arms open wide. And exhaling, reaching back, stacking the opposite arm on top this time. Lifting the elbows, dropping the head. Maybe even rocking back and forth slightly here. Just enjoying this little hug you can give yourself. Inhaling the arms open wide. Exhaling, this time we'll bring left elbow over right elbow. Bringing the elbows to 90 degrees, coming into eagle arms. Nice little bend in the knees here. We'll inhale, shifting the fingertips upward if that feels good for your back. Stretching the upper back here. And exhaling to bring the elbows down, bringing them really down as far as you can. And then inhaling to release that bind, opening the arms, maybe shifting the chin up to the sky slightly. And then exhaling this time right over left, bringing those elbows to 90 degrees. And coming into eagle arms on this side. Inhaling to shift those elbows up. Bringing that nice stretch into the top of the upper back. And then exhale, allowing those elbows to drop down. And then inhaling to release the bind, opening the arms wide, allowing the hands to come down to the sides. And here, grabbing your strap if you like. If you don't have a strap, that is fine. If you do, bringing that strap over your left shoulder. We'll inhale, the arms open wide. We're going to take that left hand in between the shoulder blades and allow the right hand to come along behind, grabbing the strap if you have it, or your fingertips if you can, or even the back of your shirt. And then finding some opposing motion here, pulling the arms away from each other. This upper elbow pointing straight up to the ceiling if you can. Opening the shoulders, opening the collarbones. Gomukhasana arms, cow face arms. And then allowing that to release, gently unwinding the arms. Maybe shaking the hands out slightly at the bottom, bringing your strap over the other shoulder. And then inhaling, arms open wide. Exhaling, we'll bring that right hand to the strap, allowing that left hand to come along behind. You may find each side is very different here. Maybe you can reach your fingertips on one side, but not on the other. That's okay. Keeping a little bend in the knees here, nice soft knees. And then allowing that to release. Inhaling out of the spine slowly. And then allowing that to relax. All right, moving our strap back out of the way. We're going to come back down to our mats. So finding your way comfortably back down to the mat. We'll meet in a tabletop. Just a little balance for the spine here today. So we'll inhale, and as we're exhaling, we're going to press the left toes into the mat, pressing back through the left heel. Feeling a nice stretch in the calf here. Keeping that gaze down to the floor, just like we could balance a teacup on the back of our necks. And then on our next inhale, we'll begin to float that left leg up from the floor, shifting that left hip down, rotating that left thigh up towards the ceiling. So the pinky toe will come down to the mat. And then if you'd like to raise that right arm here, taking a nice deep breath. And as we're exhaling, we'll bring the left knee and the right elbow together. Or if you're just extending the left leg only, just bringing the knee in. Inhaling to extend. Exhale. Knee and elbow touch. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee and elbow touch. And then keeping that left leg into the center, we'll step the left leg forward here, coming into a low lunge. Planting the right hand, we'll inhale the left arm open, low lunge twist. Dropping that left hand down. We'll come up to a high lunge here on the back toe. Shifting the hips forward, taking the gaze forward. Planting both hands, and step that right leg back, coming into downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Coming back to tabletop now. We'll take this on the other side. So finding your foundation and extending through the right heel this time. Right toes come to the floor. Pulling that front body into the back body. Pressing evenly into both hands. Pressing into the top or the toes of the left foot. And then inhaling, we'll float that right foot up from the floor, shining the inside of the thigh up towards the ceiling. And then when you're ready, extending through that left arm, if you choose to do so. Deep breath here, and then exhale, elbow and knee come to meet. Inhale to extend. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to elbow, keeping this knee in this time. And then allowing that right foot to step in between the hands, maybe working that left knee back slightly. Coming into a low lunge, planting the left hand, inhaling the right arm open wide. Allowing that right arm to swim back down, framing the right foot, coming up on the toe in the back, exhaling, shifting those hips down, gaze comes forward. And then planting both hands, stepping that right foot back, coming back to downward facing dog. And then coming back to tabletop. We'll move the feet to one side and come to sit back in our Dandasana. Taking a moment to adjust here, maybe pulling that flesh out from underneath the sits bones, rolling the shoulders onto the back, pulling the toes in towards the face, pressing the palms of hands, or the fists, into the floor. And if you have your strap handy, you can grab that now. Take that strap around the balls of the feet. If you don't have a strap this morning, Just inhaling the arms up overhead. And then exhaling as we bring the center of the chest forward. Allowing the knees to soften, no need to keep them locked. Maybe inhaling to release slightly, exhaling to deepen. And imagining that there's a string from the center of the chest that's being pulled out long over the legs. So trying to move the heart toward the toes. And we'll allow that to release. Taking our strap off, we'll shift down to the back. Bringing the knees into the chest. We'll roll out through the lower back. And then bringing the soles of the feet to the floor. We'll take the right leg up overhead. If you have that strap or towel, you can put it around the ball of the right foot. And then walking the fingertips up the strap here, just allowing the arms to be the weight on the legs. And if you don't have a strap here this morning, just taking the hands around the calf, allowing the shoulders to relax. Maybe you're grasping very close to the knee, or maybe you're just above the knee. Just being wherever you are this morning with this sensation. And if you do have a strap, taking both sides of that strap in one hand, bringing the other hand to the hip. You'll open the leg out to the side. If you do not have a strap this morning, you can keep the knee bent and hold on to the shin or the outside of the knee. Just coming into some external rotation of the hip here. Keeping that left hip down to the floor. We'll inhale to bring that leg back up overhead, this time extending the left leg long on the mat, taking both straps in the left arm, right arm comes out to the side, and then just dropping that foot a little over to the left side. So we're keeping the hips on the floor here. There are different variations of this stretch, some where you roll over all the way. In this one, we're just keeping this hip down. So it's a very small movement, but a big stretch in the side of the leg. Inhale, allow that leg to release overhead, bringing the left foot back to the floor. We'll allow that leg to drop. And let's bring the outside of the right foot to the top of the left thigh. Take a nice big inhale here, and as we're exhaling, lift that left leg from the floor, maybe interlacing the fingers behind the thigh. Shoulders and neck are relaxed and long. And then allow that leg to release. Right sole of the foot finds the floor. And we'll take that strap around the left ball of the foot. And walking those fingertips up, allowing the weight of the shoulders to relax down into the mat, holding on to the calf if you don't have a strap today. If you do have a strap today, taking both of those straps into the left hand. We'll open the leg out to the left. If you don't have a strap, bending at the knee, Hand comes to the right hip, and just opening that leg out to the side. Whether you have the leg extended long or not, you get good external rotation in the hip. Inhaling the leg back up to center, extending the right leg out long. If you have a strap, taking both straps in the right hand, taking the leg over to the right, or allowing that left arm to come out long. And bringing that leg over to the right slightly, keeping the hips on the floor. Internal rotation. Okay. Inhaling that left knee back overhead, we'll bring the right sole of the foot back to the floor, taking the outside of the left foot to the top of the right thigh. Inhaling here and exhale as we bring the right foot up from the floor. Supine pigeon. And then we'll allow that right sole of the foot to come down to the floor, followed by the left. And then bring both knees back into the chest, rolling out through the lower back here. And then reaching through the the knees. We'll grab the toes or the outsides of the feet, coming into happy knee. I mean, a little side to side rock here if you like. And then bringing that to stillness. We'll bring the soles of the feet to touch. And extend the legs out long. Ending our Shavasana. Bringing the shoulders up underneath the back. Allowing the feet to relax out to the corners of the mat. And allowing the body to rest, integrate the practice. And back here to that nice even breath. And perhaps bringing your attention to that movie screen inside your mind. Allowing your gaze to rise to that place in between your eyebrows. And just imagine here that you're lying under a clear blue sky. You can feel the warm air and the breeze on your skin. And perhaps in your clear blue sky, you can see birds flying by or circling overhead. Perhaps there's a passing plane and you can see the jet stream spreading out behind like a streak of white cloud against the sky. You can feel the ground beneath you supporting you. Imagine if you can allow any thoughts that are coming into your mind to be just like those birds flying overhead. You can watch them come and you can watch them go. Allowing yourself to rest here. Warm breeze on your skin. And your mind clear and open like the sky. And when you're ready, roll yourself to one side. Allow yourself to rest for a moment. Put your head on your arm. And then press yourself back up to a seated position. Allowing your eyes to stay closed or your gaze lowered. The reading I have for today is by Rumi. You have no idea how hard I've looked for a gift to bring you. Nothing seemed right. What's the point of bringing gold to the gold mine or water to the ocean? Everything I came up with was like taking spices to the Orient. It's no good giving my heart and my soul because you already have those. So I brought you a mirror. Look at yourself and remember me. Thank you so much for sharing this practice with me this morning. I love having you all here. May you have a wonderful day, and may your yoga follow you off the mat.